Today we're looking at something that might really challenge how you think about parenting. It's this surprising idea, maybe even a bit controversial, that spending less time directly watching over your kids could actually be, well, good for them and maybe good for you too. Our main source here is a really interesting TED Talk by Lenore Skenazy. You might know her as, well, she got nicknamed America's Worst Mom.
Right. That definitely catches your attention, doesn't it?
It does. And her story often starts with that famous incident. She let her 9-year-old son ride the New York City subway
Oh.
alone.
Wow. Yeah, I remember that. Caused quite a media storm.
Oh, absolutely. Today Show, MSNBC, NPR, Fox News,
Yeah.
everyone was talking about it. But the thing is, her son, he apparently came home just buzzing, like levitating with happiness.
That's fascinating.
So, okay, let's unpack this. Our mission today is to explore Skenazy's argument that maybe modern parenting has got a bit too far, look at some surprising data, and find some practical ways to build independence and maybe lower anxiety for everyone involved.
It's a topic that definitely provokes a reaction, I think. But what's key here, and what Skenazy emphasizes, is that this isn't about neglecting children. Not at all. It's more a reevaluation of what truly helps them thrive. It really challenges a lot of our current assumptions about safety and, child development.
Yeah, that idea of too much togetherness. Skenazy points out that kids today just have so little time on their own, so little unsupervised time compared to, say, when we were kids.
Definitely.
She tells this funny story about how kids from an older crowd, people our age or older, we'd be out playing flashlight tag or building forts, and our parents, they often had no clue exactly where we were.
That sounds familiar. Total freedom, basically.
Exactly. And that's just
Yeah.
rare now. And Skenazy argues this constant closeness, this hypervigilance is actually driving us all crazy.
And that observation connects directly to some broader trends we're seeing, and some pretty concerning data, actually. Think about the Surgeon General's reports. There was one in 2021 saying kids are more depressed and anxious than ever.
Yeah, I remember that one. Worrying.
And then just 2 years later, another report comes out saying parents are more depressed and anxious than ever. It's like a cycle.
Wow. So both kids and parents.
Yes. And Skenazy links this to what she calls the breakdown of the three balanced worlds. Used to be, you had the kid world, adventures playing the adult world with adult stuff, and the family world where you all came together. But now, she says they're all kind of mashed up together, and technology like phones, texting, talking, tracking, it makes that constant connection possible.
Right. Always reachable, always trackable.
And while that might feel reassuring on one level, it kind of blurs those boundaries that used to allow for different kinds of learning and growing in each space.
It's almost like Skenazy uses the word brainwashed. Like, we've been convinced our kids are in constant terrible danger if we're not watching them.
That guy in a white van fear?
Exactly. That or the fear they won't, get into Harvard. The stakes feel impossibly high. And this leads to what she calls the adult takeover of childhood. We're just there all the time.
Supervising everything.
Yeah, doing things they could probably handle themselves. And get this, a University of Michigan study from just a couple of years ago found something pretty striking. Parents say they want their kids to be independent. But a majority of parents with kids aged 9 to 11, so not toddlers,
Right, tweens.
they won't let them play at a park with a friend alone, or even walk to a friend's house nearby.
Seriously, 9 to 11?
Yep. And only half, just 50%, would let their child go to the next aisle over in a grocery store while they're shopping together.
Wow. That's really something.
Skenazy puts it so vividly. She says, sending your kid for a can of peas is like sending them to NAM. It just highlights this huge gap between what we say we want and what we actually let them do.
That's a powerful image,
Yes.
but it does make you wonder, what is this fear? Is it really based on, reality?
Well, that brings us to what Skenazy calls helpful fact one, and it's designed to put that fear into perspective. Statistically speaking, the chance of your kid being kidnapped off the street by a stranger is incredibly, vanishingly small.
Like lottery winning small.
Even smaller, probably. She quotes this statistic. For that to happen, a child would need to be outside, alone, for 750,000 years.
750,000 years.
Yeah. She even jokes, after the first 100,000, they're not even kids anymore, right? They're not even cute. They're like dust.
Okay, point taken. The fear is way out of proportion to the actual risk.
Massively. But then there's helpful fact two, which is maybe even more important for development.
Okay.
Kids actually learn more when they're not with adults constantly supervising.
The unsupervised play argument.
Right.
Think about the difference. Adult run games. They're efficient, everyone gets a turn, maybe a trophy. It's all very organized.
Smooth sailing.
But kid run games, especially with different ages, it's often messy. Like, think of the Peanuts characters trying to play baseball.
Yeah, total chaos sometimes.
But in that chaos, they're figuring things out. They have to decide the rules, negotiate, handle arguments, compromise,
Yeah,
just to keep the game going.
that actually sounds like a lot of work for them. Socially, emotionally.
It is work, but it's crucial. We're learning how to make things happen, get people on board, use executive function, focus, communicate. All these skills they absolutely need later in life.
Okay, I see that.
Skenazy gives this great example. Imagine a 12-year-old pitching to a 5-year-old. In organized sports, never happens, right? Age groups are separate.
True.
But in unsupervised play, it might. And the older kid realizes, there's no glory in striking out a kindergartner. So what do? They pitch gently.
Ah, okay.
The little one hits it, maybe just a tap, and the older kid yells, maybe genuinely thrilled, "My God, it's a home run!" Both kids are happy. In that moment, that 12-year-old, they're learning empathy, generosity, how to be supportive, how to kind of be an adult. Skenazy calls that the most teachable moment of all.
That's a fantastic example. It really makes you think.
It does. It raises the question. If we're always supervising, always helping, always giving that high five, are we actually, maybe accidentally, preventing them from developing that resilience, that self-reliance they need?
And that loops back to the anxiety thing, doesn't it? If kids don't see what they can do on their own, maybe they get more anxious. And parents, too, because they don't see it either.
Exactly. It's a cycle of uncertainty and anxiety.
So given this adult takeover, as she calls it, what can we actually do? What are the solutions?
Right. It's not just about identifying the problem. And this is where Skenazy, along with Jonathan Haidt, the social psychologist, and a couple of others, founded the nonprofit Let Grow about 8 years back. Their mission is pretty clear. Make it easy, normal, and legal for parents to let go and let grow.
Easy, normal, and legal. Okay. How?
Well, they have a few approaches. One big one is legislative. It's called the Reasonable Childhood Independence Law.
Okay, what does that do?
Basically, it clarifies that it's not neglect for parents to let their kids do reasonable, age-appropriate things alone. Like, playing at the park nearby, walking to the store. Things that used to be totally normal.
So it protects parents from being investigated just for letting their kid walk home from school.
Precisely. It removes that legal fear. And as of last month, she said it had passed in 9 states. And at the time of the talk, Florida was voting on it. So it's gaining traction.
That seems huge, making it legally okay.
It is huge because it tackles that collective aspect. If the law says it's okay, maybe more parents will feel comfortable doing it, less worried about being judged, or worse, reported.
Right, safety in numbers, almost.
Kind of. And then there are school-based programs Let Grow promotes. One is getting schools to stay open after school, but not just for structured clubs. Instead, it's for mixed age, no devices, free play.
Free play. So what does the adult do?
They're there, but more like a lifeguard. Present, watchful, maybe has an EpiPen handy, but crucially, they are not organizing the games or solving the kids' arguments.
Hands off.
Pretty much. The idea is kids want to play together. They want fun. If their only unsupervised fun space is their phone, well, that's where they'll go.
Makes sense.
But if you give them this other space, no devices, lots of other kids, a good chunk of time it becomes, as Skenazy puts it, like a wildlife sanctuary for childhood.
Wildlife sanctuary for childhood. I really like that. It captures the feeling of letting them be, wild and free in a safe way.
Exactly.
Okay, so there's the law, the after-school play. What else? There's a third solution, which I think is really clever. It's a homework assignment called the Let Grow Experience.
Homework, to be more independent.
Yeah. The assignment is simple. Go home and do something new on your own. With parental permission, obviously, but without the parent helping or supervising.
Like what kind of things?
Oh, could be anything appropriate for their age and area. Climb a tree, walk the dog around the block, make pancakes, run to the corner store for milk. It's in over 1,000 schools now. And Skenazy tells this amazing story about one kid, maybe 10 or 11, whose Let Grow project was to make dinner for his family.
Ambitious.
Totally. So he goes to the grocery store alone, but he gets stuck. He can't find the hot sauce. And the thought of asking a clerk, he just felt totally overwhelmed. Tiny, she said.
Oh, poor kid.
He actually ran out of the store,
Yeah.
left his cart and everything, just bolted.
Oh no, so he gave up.
That's what you'd think. But then he stopped and he turned around and he went back in.
He did.
He went back in, found the courage, talked to the clerk, and he got the hot sauce.
Wow. That's huge.
Isn't it? Scanetti called it a classic hero's journey,
Yeah.
faced defeat, felt humiliated, abandoned the quest, but then found the strength to return and succeed.
That gives me chills, actually, just imagining him making that decision to go back in.
Right. And that feeling that I did it myself moment, Scanetti says those are childhood's magic words, the original anxiety buster.
That really lands because when you think about it, connecting this to the bigger picture, the times we feel most proud of our kids, and when they feel most proud of themselves, it's almost always when they've done something independently.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, figuring out how to clear the table properly when they stayed overnight somewhere, or finding their way back to the hotel room when they got separated for a minute, or even that older kid letting the younger one have that home run moment.
Those small victories.
They're not small, really. They're where resilience is built, where empathy grows, where they learn they can handle things. So the ultimate solution, Skenazy argues, to this anxiety crisis for both kids and parents, it's about intentionally pulling apart those worlds again.
Giving them back their own space.
Yes, letting them do things on their own out in the world, trusting them, maybe even, without checking the tracking app every 5 minutes or texting constantly.
That takes trust. A leap of faith for many parents, I imagine.
It does. But Skenazy basically guarantees if you can do that, if you can let go a bit, your kids will end up less anxious. They'll be smarter because they're problem solving, and they'll be incredibly proud.
And maybe the parents will be less anxious too, eventually seeing their kids thrive.
That's the hope. Less anxious kids, less anxious parents. So, as you think about your own life, your own day, maybe consider this.
What's one small thing, one manageable step you could empower a young person in your life to try and do it themselves today? And just watch. What profound lesson might they learn? And, maybe just as importantly, what might you learn in the process?